Dropfleet Commander 2-player starter set for 2nd edition. Alright, so I had to get a 2-player starter. I mean, if I'm checking out everything else, I need to check this out, right? Alright. It is 2679, and war rages on a galactic scale. After almost a decade on the offensive against the vile alien scourge, the united colonies of mankind are battle-scarred but unbroken. Its reconquest, a grand endeavor to reclaim its heartlands and Earth itself, hangs in the balance. A mighty new generation of utilitarian warships and vengeful soldiers rush to the front lines, but the UCM's alliances with other human factions are crumbling. The parasites are fighting back viciously, and a previously unknown threat has emerged. The Bioficers, ancient, corrupted artificial intelligences, AI, have observed mankind's aptitude for cataclysmic violence, and it pleases them. Biology is their clay. They can vaporize it, ingest it, and shape it. Their biodrones are woven in minutes and might be any shape that nightmares can conjure. Their ships are uniquely advanced, focused, and utterly lethal. They have no grand strategy and no goal besides reveling in war and the slow suffering of capable prey. They are a factor apart and may be the greatest threat sentient life has ever faced. This box contains 9 plastic UCM ships, 15 plastic Bioficer ships, a rulebook, which is also free online. Rules are free online. 24 bases, 10 dice, 1 space station sheet, 2 debris sheets, 2 token sheets, 3 quick play cards. Yep. Alright, so you get a whole bunch of extras. Plus, this is the Bioficer core box, and this is the UCM core box. So you get 2 core boxes and extras in this box. So if you're looking to play Bioficers and UCM, or planning to split with someone, this might actually be less expensive than buying each of the core boxes separately. Just check that out for you. Prices always vary with time, but let's get this open. Alright. Okay. And inside. Oh yeah. Oh. Interesting. This is the first box that I've unboxed where some of the items are not actually on the sprues, and they were not in plastic bags either, so that's interesting. I'm guessing it was the extra weight from the rulebook, because that's even taken a little bit of a hit. And 2 little pieces of something. Alright. So we have tokens. Each of these mean something in-game. The rulebook explains that. And we also have these to signal different things like a fire and weapons offline. I'm guessing this is navigation offline. And then the different types of assets on drop sites. We have the bases for different space stations. Again, everything measures from that little dot right in the center. So long as you have the dot, that's pretty good. And if you build a space station, you can also leave this down and put the space station on top. So if you need to get through with a ship, you can just pick it up and still have the placement. Fast play sheets. If I wanted to build the Bruges, the Edmonton, the San Fran, and the Toulons, and the New Orleans and the Limas, I have all of that right here. Points might be slightly out of date, but easy enough to write down what that is. Crippling effects, and then Comet, Cavern, Catastrophe, and Fulcrum. Foray, Invasion Cell, Lander Cell, and Prism Cell. That's nice, having all of these. Yeah. So this is a nice fast play reference. More tokens. Single-sided, but still useful to see what each thing is. And then city drop sites and cloud debris fields and everything. Two identical ones of those. It's reasonably thick. It's not super crazy, but it should work fine for games if you're careful with it. And then the rulebook has all of the information, and aside from a few changes that are, again, the information is updated and free online, it's still good to have a quick reference and possibly just write down when things change. But it's always nice to have a little quick reference book. And then we have the ships. All right, so we have 3 of the UCM core ships. This is a cruiser and 2 frigates per. And other than this one that took a little bit of beating and 2 of the pieces came off, everything looks to be here. So that's nice. And then we have 3 of the Biophyser core ship sprues. That come with a cruiser, 2 frigates. Let's see, there should be a Genitor Tower, 2 of the cells, and the ability to make many different kinds of cells from it. Or you can use them to run different weapons on Well, I usually build a few of these as forays first, but that way you can carry the invasion cell or torpedo cells or whatever. So, again, really nice. You get 3 of those. And then the triangles to customize each of the cruisers and frigates to your liking. So these don't have any specific locations for them, but with the connectors, you can put them pretty much anywhere along the bodies of each of the ships. So you have quite an opportunity to customize them all how you would like. So I am looking forward to getting this out on the table and actually playing more games with it. I like having all of the dice and tokens and everything. Yep, see, dice. Always nice to get more dice. I wonder how they'll roll. I'm really happy with this. I hope the contents is what you were looking for. Again, buying 2 core boxes, one for UCM and one for Biofighters, could get you all of the same ships, but getting the dice and the tokens and the rulebook, you know, it's up to you if that makes sense. Because, again, the rulebook is free online. So, I'm looking forward to getting these built up. For the 2-player starter set, you get UCM and Biophyser fast play sheets as an option for building ships. However, I already have some in the collection, so I went with a slightly different build. For the UCM, it calls for a Bruges, an Edmonton, and a San Francisco, and I already have an Edmonton and 2 San Franciscos in the collection, so instead I decided to build 3 Osaka, or Rio, or Vilnius. And each of them has a magnet in place so that it can change out which weapons it needs. And all 3 are buildable from these 3 ships. So having a unit of 3 Osaka, or a unit of 2 Rio and a Vilnius, or even going 3 Vilnius. I have options for all 3 now. It calls for 2 Toulon, which I did build. It calls for 2 New Orleans, which I built. And it calls for 2 Limas, which I also built, because having all of these definitely helps. I have some other Toulons, so this will add to that group. And I did not have too many Limas, being that it is a rare unit. But having these 6 definitely helps. And then for the Biofighters, it calls for a Comet, a Cavern, and a Catastrophe for the the cruisers. And that's okay, but I already built a Catastrophe so that I can run Atlas. So instead, I built a Carronade. I built a Coral, because getting more spikes is always good. And I did a Combine, because getting more cells into place is always useful. It then calls for 2 Fulcrum, and 2 foray. And I built those, and since I had 2 more, I decided to go with 2 more fulcrum. Might as well have a unit of 4. And then I built 2 invasion cell, 2 lander cell, and 2 torpedo cell instead of the prism cell, and then the 3 generator towers that come with the sprues. So this seems like a reasonable amount of ships, and I look forward to getting them all painted up and on the battlefield. Having this triple threat here magnetized up gives me a lot of options for my UCM, and having a second coral and a second combine definitely helps add to my Biophyser threat. And although the Carronade is not amazing right now, I just thought it would be really fun to build that particular loadout. So we'll see how it goes. Subscribe if you haven't so that you don't miss any future videos. I also want to thank my patrons and supporters for making these videos possible. And until next time, I hope you find your bit of bliss.